Mr. Beardsley, will you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We do need to consider a ratification for treasurer. Can I get a motion to elect Steve Core in that position?
So moved.
Moved by Brenda, second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now is the appropriate time for visitors in the audience to be recognized and to speak on items both on the agenda and of general concerns to the patrons of Green River Schools. There will be a limit of 3 minutes for an individual and 5 minutes for a group spokesperson. No speaker shall speak more than twice on any issue. The board is legally obligated to maintain confidentiality concerning district personnel, and therefore matters concerning district personnel will not be discussed. Do we have anyone that wants to speak tonight? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We need an approval for the board minutes for May 10th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We don't have any district goals or leadership, no bid requests. Chris, I think you're up for the budget.
Chairman Castilian, Superintendent Behringer, and trustees. Tonight is our budget hearing for the Recreation Board, and I'll just go through this right quick. Just a quick reminder, the Rec Board is a separate entity, a component unit under the Sweetwater County School District number 2. The items are for recreational purposes only, and we transfer funds to recreation approved projects through the district as well as to outside agencies through the form of grants. And we are now in our 12th year of operation as a recreation board. So we did have a 21.6% increase in the district to assess valuation this year. So it bounced back to the FY 2020 values, which was good, which means that 1 mil would generate $994,746. And that 1 mil will be up to the school board to approve in the next meeting. Our rec board beginning fund balance is $2,126,124. We are predicting revenues to be $1,246,000. Appropriations, $1,416,251. And I've itemized it here for you. We have recurring expenditures in the form of an athletic trainer, our strength and conditioning program, and our aquatic center staffing and operations at a cost of $684,610. We supplement our activities for equipment, supplies, and professional development for coaches. And you approved some other activity equipment expenses that you see there. And this year, capital projects, the Lincoln Middle School Stadium turf replacement was up for replacement. And we got a great deal on that job that's going to happen in the summer of 23 for $508,995. And one other item, the Truman Marquee, for a budget of $30,000. Our community grants totaled $132,646. And I think we got some really good projects going on this year. You can see there. So our designated cash reserve is itemized here for you, a set aside for aquatics operations. We're still saving for the Lincoln Stadium turf replacement. That'll happen, 10 years from next year, and the high school turf replacement. And then we have an undesignated fund balance of $694,599 for a total of $1,710,120. With that, I'll answer questions.
Can I get a motion to approve the budget?
I'll make a motion. We approve the 2022-23 rec mill budget as presented.
Does anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll adjourn our meeting.
Doug, I was told the Truman Marquee is up, operational and going now. I'll call the meeting to order. Would our award-winning Leah Kennison lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Leah. We'll get to you a little bit later. First item on our agenda is consider nomination for the board chair. As you know, we do have a vacancy from the chairman's position. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Second.
Motion to nominate Steve Core from Tom Wilson, seconded by Brenda Russa. Any other nominations? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is the nomination for board vice chair. I was this board vice chair, so we have that vacancy now.
I'll nominate Dave Young.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Tom, seconded by Mark to nominate Dave Young as vice chair. Any other nominations? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Dave. Thanks. Our committee assignments for Super 8 and Sweetwater BOCES, as everybody knows, we do have a board vacancy. I would recommend that we wait till we appoint that person to make these appointments.
So
And-
Dave was our clerk, so we need a new clerk.
Dave was the clerk. Okay, we need a new clerk. Cease, Dave. Bailed out on us. I need a nomination, please.
I'll nominate Tom.
I could only be here a couple months.
We'll get two out of you.
We'll have to reorganize in December, whether you're here or not. Okay, it's been moved and
Second.
seconded to appoint Tom Wilson as the clerk. Any other nominees? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Tom. You just get your name in the paper on all the legal stuff. There you go. Okay, once again, I'd recommend we do the Super 8 and Sweetwater BOCES after we appoint the next board member. Is everybody good with that? I talked with Mark about BOCES and he didn't think that would be an issue. I have a meeting coming up, but so is everybody good with that? Okay, we'll do that the August meeting. 1.06 not on the agenda, but Christine, I want to recognize one of our employees.
Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and trustees. I'm just going to read a little bit of an excerpt from Leah's nomination. Director Kennison has a true passion to meet the nutritional needs of the students of Sweetwater 2. She truly values the students and her staff on a daily basis. She has gone the extra mile for the students by implementing special occasion menus to celebrate particular national food days, such as National Ice Cream Day, on a monthly basis. She also installed vending machines at Green River High School and Lincoln Middle School with resounding success. Both implementations met the goal of inspiring students to enjoy the nutrition options that are available to them. Leah also continually demonstrates her appreciation to her staff by recognizing their birthdays, as well as an end of the year appreciation and recognition banquet in which she and others serve the nutrition services staff a very nice meal. She has a sixth sense for anticipating students' acceptance of the daily menus and the special celebrations. Her team is 100% behind her, and this is because she is excited about each and every program that she's offering. She loves the littles, as she calls them, the elementary students. She enjoys a great deal of satisfaction and has joy in her heart when she interacts with the children in the cafeteria. She knows this is a very important part of their day, and she wants the students to have a great experience at both lunch and breakfast. I believe all of us appreciate and respect Leah's service to the students and staff of Sweetwater 2. Her passion for her work shows in all aspects of her day. We are fortunate to have a dedicated, knowledgeable, and passionate nutrition services director. Leah's been with us since 2010. She's gone through the ranks, started as a substitute in the food service department. She eventually became the kitchen manager at Harrison, working at central office, and now the director of the program. In 2017, she was also awarded the Food Service Employee of the Year Award. So with that, it is my honor to introduce the 2022 Wyoming Nutrition Services Director of the Year, Leah Kennison.
Leah, I thought these were for my wife, but I guess they're for you. Have to give Mary credit for the flowers. Thanks, Mary. Appreciate it. All right, congratulations, Leah. Well deserved. Think about the awards this district's won this year. It's pretty impressive lineup, and you just put the cherry back on the top of it. So congratulations. That's awesome. Next on our agenda is the public comments. Now's the appropriate time for visitors of the audience to be recognized, speak on items both on the agenda and of general concerns of the patrons of the district. Be a 3-minute, there will be a limit of 3 minutes for an individual, 5 for a group spokesperson. No speaker shall speak more than twice on any issue. The board is legally obligated to maintain confidentiality concerning district personnel, and therefore matters concerning district personnel will not be discussed. Is there anybody like to speak to the board tonight? There being none, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. I do need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by David, seconded by Tom.
I'd like to make it a motion to amend the agenda to add 6.02, consider approval of a certified retirement request, and 6.03, consider approval of the support sick leave bank request.
Okay, need a second on the amendment, seconded by Brenda. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Motion carries. All those in favor of the amended agenda?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. I would like to have 4.06 moved off the consent agenda to discuss and move that to 9.07. That's the approval of the Wyoming High School Activities Association dues and insurance. The reason why I want to discuss it is because I think we need to make a pretty big deal that we're going to be offering girls wrestling. And Tony will come up and talk a little bit about how we plan on doing that. That's part of that dues we have to pay. Everybody good with that?
Mhm.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items as, I guess, amended.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved by Tom, second by Ashley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is our yearly calendar.
So there on August 30th, we had on there from last year, we had the WSBA roundup, that last one you see. That has been moved to September 21st. Is that right, Mary? We'll be hosting that, and Leah will be providing, and her staff will be providing dinner for that. And
Okay.
so
And that's
that's,
a whole bunch of districts.
yeah, a whole
yeah,
bunch.
okay. All right, great, thanks. Next item is personnel. Consider approval of the certified contracts for 2022, 2023. Dr. Foos.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, trustees. We had a little late movement here, and so the district responded and got another local person that we're just very excited about. Taryn Calkins here, at 6th grade teacher, Lincoln Middle School. Thanks for your consideration.
Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by David, second by Ashley to approve Taryn Calkins as a 6th grade teacher at Lincoln Middle School. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention. Brenda abstains. Motion is approved. Next item, consider approval of the certified retirement requests. Mr. Foos?
Thank you, Chairman Core. Before the board's consideration, retirement for Kathy Baker. Without disclosing too much information, I think we would call this retirement a little bit of a hardship. She's got some things going on that's helping her make this decision, and we wish her the very best.
Okay, need a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Tom to approve Kathy Baker, Title I, Washington Elementary retirement. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the support sick leave bank request.
Chairman Core, you can see above you, we had to pull in the substitutes for the sick bank committee because it was summertime, but it is that committee's recommendation to the board to approve these additional 16 days.
Okay, this is for support sick leave bank request. You've heard the reports. Need a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, seconded by Dave to approve the request. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item, consider approval of the bid for computers. JR, welcome.
All right, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board. We received authorization to go out for RFP for 59 desktop computers. We anticipated it to be $60,000. It came in slightly higher at $62,259.50. I believe the reason for this is one of the labs is a graphics lab, and the cost of video cards is kind of outrageous at the moment. So we are asking for your permission to award it to Dell Computers for $62,259.50.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, seconded by Tom to go with Dell Computers in the amount of $62,259.50. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Up next is to consider approval of the bid for excess used technology equipment. JR?
Yep. So yeah, we went out for a bid on our surplus equipment. A lot of this stuff was kind of older, so I wasn't surprised, but I was kind of surprised by one of the bidders being extremely low. So we only received 2 bids, and the bid that we're asking approval for is from Cornerstone Technologies for $16,790.50.
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Tom, seconded by Brenda to approve Cornerstone Technologies in the amount of $16,790.50. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. One quick question, Jared. When will they come get all that?
So we said we gave them up until the start of school to get
Okay.
it. So August 17th. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep.
Next is consider approval of the RFP results for the Snoozeland room at Harrison Elementary School. Dr. Demaray, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and members of the board. So we received one RFP for the multi-sensory equipment, and it's Flag House, and the amount, as you can see, the total amount is $28,565, and we're asking for your permission to grant that.
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve the bid.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Ashley to approve the Flag House bid for $28,565, which includes equipment and the installation and training on the equipment. Any discussion on this?
When will that be installed?
It'll be a little bit now. I anticipate within hopefully 3 months is when they'll be able to come in. So hopefully it'll be sooner than later.
So they'll be able to work around the school schedule if it's after school started.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
that room is used every day, but they're coming out of New York usually, and so they'll probably come over the weekend and install.
Okay,
It shouldn't take
perfect.
too long.
All right, great. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A little out of tune here. Next is 8.04, consider approval of the sale of the used transportation vehicles and equipment by bid. Rachel Todd, welcome.
Good evening. Oh my goodness, this part. Good evening, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and the board. Okay, so we would like to request approval to dispose and sell the following items. The 2003 Chevy Suburban. It has damage from an incident over Christmas break, and then a 10-foot single axle trailer that we would also like to be able to put up for closed bid.
So this will be bidded out.
Yes.
Okay. Need a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by David to go out to sell excess equipment, a 2003 Chevrolet Suburban and a 10-foot single axle trailer. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank you.
Rachel. Appreciate it. Other business, open hearing on the district budget. I will open up for public comments on the budget. Is there anybody that'd like to speak to us before we hear the presentation on the budget? There being none, I'll close the public hearing and welcome Christine to the podium.
Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. I'd like to present the FY 2023 budget. The budget represents a collaborative effort of the board, every school and department, and the financial plan to reflect the long-term goals of the district and maximize the alignment of resources with student achievement. Our budget task force did help us this past year, and we appreciate that. And if we need them, we're hoping we can call on them again at that time. A couple of the budget highlights, we did have some reductions in the non-salary area. Overall, about 10%. We have maintained our delivery of instruction and services at the 21-22 level. And we're utilizing our CARES Act funds to address learning loss, mental health services and supports, technology needs, school resources, sanitation supplies, facility improvements, and student health. So almost every category that we deal with, we're using those funds. To start, our total appropriations of all of our funds total $61,098,574. I'm going to start with the general fund. The foundation guarantee, which matches up to our general fund budget and our general fund funding, had a reduction in 2023 of $906,184. The biggest portion of that reduction was due to our ADM loss of 55 students. Additionally, there was an adjustment in the model for the health insurance premium. The amount that they fund under the health insurance premium category was reduced. So that did impact our guarantee. You will recall that the 2022 ECA for staff was removed from the model during this legislative session. And in an ECA for supplies and energy was added into the model for FY 2023. And my nearest guess is that it amounted to $111,832. It was for supplies and energy only. And then lastly, we had a reduction that was about $130,000. And what that was a result of was our at-risk funding. Our at-risk funding that comes into us through the model was less for next year. And that is in part due to, you'll recall, we were operating under the free meals program. And so our counts that are eligibles for free and reduced meals was down, of course, because the applications were not necessary for the last 2 years. That impact was a statewide impact. Every district was facing reductions in that category. Just a little bit about ADM. As I mentioned, for FY 23, we're looking at a loss of 55. Again, we're on the second year of a 3-year rolling average. So that's a little history there for you. For next year, assuming that our enrollment is flat in 22-23, which it was flat in 21-22, we had an increase of about 22 students or so over the prior year. But just assuming that it's flat for 22-23, we would then experience the third year of our declining rolling average, which would be 51 students. I just want to put that out there so that we know what we're dealing with for FY 2024 funding. Okay. Some good news is that like I mentioned before, the Sweetwater 2 assessed valuation increased by 21.6%. And back to the 2021 or 2020 values, I'm sorry. And then the county assessed valuation increased 25%, which actually I think exceeded the 2020 values on the county. For Sweetwater 2, we get about 32% of that 6 mil. Rock Springs and Bear Oil gets the other amounts in there, but our county 6 mil will amount to 4,688,228. These two numbers combined with what we get from the foundation entitlement will make up our guarantee. So that's just informational there. You can see the local taxes make up 80%, 79% of our guarantee. Local resources make up 6%, and then the state entitlement will make up the other 14.5%. So for the general fund, it does look different this year. And this is in part due to the change in the collection of ad valorem taxes that occurred last year. So when we predicted in 22 what we thought that would what would happen to our revenues on the tax change, we predicted that we would only get about 85% of our usual revenue locally. And so the state would kick in that additional amount for this first year of this tax law change. As it turns out, we collected 99% of our local revenues. So consequently, the state has paid us in advance, basically $4 million, this 3.983, 362. So that's just something to know. It's not going to affect anything for this year. It's just that we've been paid in advance, and it'll be adjusted on our FY23 entitlement payments. Appropriations this year total $39,731,525. And you can see the breakout there. We're sitting at 83.5% salaries and benefits and 16.5% non-salary. There is a slight difference in the funds that we have available and the appropriations. And you'll recall that we are planning on using some of our reserve to front end some salaries for some of our aides that we will get reimbursed for next year. That's one item. And some other contingencies that we have in there, and I'll bring one of those up here in a minute here. I wanted to talk a little bit about our cash reserves. Also this past year, House Bill 30 did allow for an increase from 15% to 30% in our cash reserves for the period June 30th of 2022 through June 30th of 2026. And recall that that is tying in with the funding that we are receiving, in part due to the funding that we're receiving under the CARES Act funds, which they are time limited and they have to be allotted by September of 2024. This reserve allowance is allowing us to carry this through 2026 so that we have time to adjust once those funds are expended. So as of June 30th this year, our undesignated reserve is $6,976,683. We did have some savings within our general fund, mainly due to some CARES Act eligible expenses that we had this past year. Our hold harmless reserve is $2,832,202. That includes our pre-97 cash reserve, as well as our impact aid reserve that we have designated. Moving on to major maintenance. Our major maintenance account's looking good. Revenues are at 2.106,200, right a little even more than what they were last year, leaving us 4,756,704 available. Right now we have about 1.6 million in projects in process. Mainly the big one is the culinary arts project. And right now, as of today, undesignated 3,160,880. Under special revenue, this is our grant fund. And the big change here, of course, this year is revenues are totaling $9,903,426. The biggest change is, of course, CARES Act coming into the budget. The The stimulus funds budget is 6,434,187. And of that, 5.65 million will be expended out over 2 years. So this is going to be high for a couple years. Appropriations total 9,376,712. We do have some additional grants coming this year, and that's in your budget booklet on one of the back pages there in the appendix. But our grant coordinator, along with our superintendent, have been working to secure funds for many other projects, mainly FFA, culinary arts. And I've tried to list all of those in there for your information. Nutrition services. Just to recap nutrition services, the program will be returning to paid meals at the beginning of the 22-23 school year. The seamless summer option will end in July, at the end of July, I should say. We have scheduled a 50-cent increase in our lunch prices and a 15-cent to 35-cent, that's a range for our breakfast prices that will be in effect this year. We've also budgeted a general fund subsidy as a contingency. There's a lot of unknowns on the agenda for this year for sure. The good news is that with the seamless summer option, the beginning fund balance in food service right now is $838,703. Part of that is a supply chain issues grant that we received just this spring that we will be using this year to address just that, supply chain issues, of which there are many. And then we also have the van that we ordered last September, hopefully will be here this September, is designated in that fund balance. So the fund balance that we have undesignated is going to allow us the flexibility to address the supply chain issues, address some of the inflation on the food costs, and address any potential participation challenges that we may run into. We are hoping for the best on that, but we're ready if need be.
Let me ask you a question, Chris, on the undesignated,
Mhm.
the $750 or $45,000. We have to run through that before we would potentially touch the $150,000 subsidy?
Not necessarily. What we like to do within food service is keep a 3-month operating balance, a 3-month operating reserve on as a fund balance, which would be about 430,000, right in that neighborhood. So we wouldn't want to deplete it totally.
Okay.
But we do want to keep within that 3-month operating.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. So revenues are budgeted at 1,321,065 and appropriations 1,650,318. We do have some equipment purchases in there. And I've already mentioned the van issue.
Have we paid for that van?
No. Our capital projects fund, our beginning fund balance is 747,707, which is basically the aquatics funds from the bond. We have 836,061 in revenues. Part of that is school facilities. We have some money set aside in there for security, 195,000. And a contingency of 100,000. And then we have transfers coming in from the rec board for 2 projects, the Lincoln Stadium turf replacement and the Truman Marquee. So appropriations total 1,585,768.
And Chris, on the aquatics premium and maintenance accounts, which is bond money, do we have obviously we have to spend that on aquatics facility. Do we have a time frame on when we have to spend it, or we just can hold it forever?
I do not believe there's a time frame. We have 2 accounts. We have the maintenance account and then we have the premium account. And we did receive $96,000 from the county treasurer on taxes that were collected after the the final bond payment was made.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is the $747,000 that's sitting there is something we can use if there are major maintenance issues with the pool? Because we can't use major maintenance money on the pool.
As long as it's for the pool, yes.
Okay, great.
It is for the
Thanks.
pool. Mhm.
And I think it also needs to be mentioned that we paid the bonds off.
Yes,
We're no longer paying.
I am going to mention
taxing.
that again. Special reserve for equipment. This is a fund that we established in 2020. We have a balance and appropriations of $1,631,860. And I foresee that any major equipment that we have to buy will be going through this fund at this point. Our pupil activity funds, this is student raised monies, and our current balance right now is $409,437. I should say the students' balances are $409,437. Our legal debt margin is $99,474,556, which is 10% of our assessed valuation. We have no outstanding debt at this point. The mill levies that have been requested by Sweetwater BOCES is a 0.5 mil, which would generate $497,373. BOCES Region 5 requesting 0.2 mil would generate $198,949. And of course, our Recreation Board, 1 mil would generate $994,746. The total mills levied by the district would then be 44.7, which is no change from last year. And I can answer any questions.
I had one other question I wanted to ask Chris. Does it make sense a little bit to possibly look at shifting some money into the special reserve fund for equipment? Are we okay there? You comfortable with that number?
I am at this point.
Okay.
Mhm.
But that's certainly an option, I would
It
think.
is. It is.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's the only question I had. Anybody else?
Thank you. That's very
Anybody
good.
else? Chris, outstanding job.
Oh.
I really love pages 110 and 111 in the board booklet, the narratives on what's going on and how it's very well spelled out.
Great.
So-
Thank you.
Good job. All right, we need a motion to approve the Region 5 Board of Cooperative Educational Services mill. The request is for 0.2 mils.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Ashley to go with 0.2 mils for Region 5 Board of Cooperative Educational Services. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the Sweetwater Board of Cooperative Educational Service mill of 0.5. Need a motion, please?
Motion to approve. Second.
Moved by Tom, second by David to go 0.5 for Sweetwater BOCES. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the rec mill levy for the fiscal year 2023 of 1.0 mils. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Brenda, second by David. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now I need a motion to approve the 2022-2023 fiscal year budget as presented by Chris.
So moved. I'll second.
Moved by Tom, second by Ashley. Any discussion, comments?
Great job. Thank you. It was
Yeah,
very cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the hard work on it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you again, Chris. Appreciate it. Next is the update on the district safety. Dr. Foos.
Chairman Core, Superintendent Berenger, Board of Trustees. We just wanted to give a 30,000 look at some of the things we're working on in progress, things that are already in place, just a quick touch base here tonight and then answer some questions. Before I get too far into this thing, need to give credit to a lot of folks, obviously Craig for leading the way, but safety, as we mentioned earlier when we talked this February, it's not a one-person bill. It's not a silver bullet. And Dr. Demaray in charge of student services. There's a huge aspect of safety in his sandbox, huge aspect of safety in Doug's sandbox with the actual security of the buildings. It's everyone together. And I think you'll see on the new organizational chart, that's where the district did set safety as kind of an overarching between the board of directors and trustees. So we really appreciate the board's support and help us navigate these difficult times. District vision, mission, learning for all. And that's what we want to continue to do. As Craig mentioned last month, and I thought I really appreciated his presentation, is we want to continue to improve safety and wellness and improve communication and collaboration. And that's going to be our focus this year moving forward. I mentioned it at the very end of the presentation, where we've reached out to a lot of folks. We've reached out to experts across the nation, all of those things. And in reaching out to those folks, we were pointed out to a study or extensive research done by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Secret Service. It's an analysis. And we inserted the website up here. So hopefully our patrons and stakeholders, you could click on that website and get to the report. It's about 50 or 60 pages. It's really in depth and it's an awesome read, but we're not going to go through that tonight. But I do want to reference it because it's guiding a lot of work that we are doing together here. James Murray, he's the 26th director of the U.S. Secret Service operation right now. This is a statement from that report, and it really was pretty profound to me. And a lot of things going on in the nation and right here in our town of Green River. But I think this hits the nail right on the head that ensuring the safety of children at school, it's the responsibility of everybody. And everybody can read, and not going to go through that thing, but it's a collective effort of all of us. Again, and I'm referencing the report, the Secret Service study, is I think we know this, and we talk about children in school, but the majority of people are really attempting targeted violence and conducting that targeted violence. Their number one deal is grievances. And you can kind of see the list there that it's peers related to bullying, grievances with staff, it's 10% as you move right. But really, the majority of this stuff has to do with kids not getting along with others. And a lot of times it's their peers. Just a little bit more from the report and the research that's substantiated. Most frequently, the grievances involved classmates, and these are peer grievances that were usually related to bullying in some way. Students not getting along. And the report clearly says these are the things that are triggering that targeted violence. And we need to begin to understand these, learn from it, and do everything we can as a district from a 30,000 view to be as prepared and be as proactive and prevent the best that we can. The recommendations from the report, and it's the very first one, and this is the part where need to give a lot of credit to Dr. Demaray, but establish a multidisciplinary threat assessment system. And we sent out some training videos as kind of a practice. We sent it to the board about a month ago. And one of the things in there is there's a lot of things out there on school safety, but the priority needs to be research-based. And Alan, he got after that and did some extensive research early here in the summer. And one of the things, and I'll get to it in a minute, is we're responding with a threat assessment enhancement to our already in place threat assessment for students. That thing is going to be revamped, research-based, and we're really looking forward to kicking that thing off. Number two, that the report yielded to us by the Secret Service is we need to identify those concerning behaviors. And the work that Daleen does in the data department and Infinite Campus, boy, we're data rich. And we have this data at our fingertips that we can get into and start to utilize in a way that makes our schools safer. Continue to provide multiple avenues for reporting concerning behavior to students. And if you remember back in February at that presentation, it's our culture. And the report specifically says, there's always someone a little bit in the know, someone who is aware of the concerning behavior, of the potential danger to our schools. And we need to continue to build that culture for people to come forward. Also mentioned in February, students' number one person that they're telling their concerns that something may be up is the teachers. And then teachers need to be in a position to respond to that and to deal with that. Number two are the parents. And I think we as a district, again, with the addition of our family counselors who are going to be doing parent nights and things, they're going to be working on, hey, parents, if you hear something, go to the website, hit the safe to tell. You can make an anonymous report or have the courage to pick up your SROs and make those phone calls. I know Officer Kirkwood's here tonight. Kent is unable to be here, but boy, what a phenomenal relationship and work those guys have done. But when someone's aware of concerning behavior, we've got to continue to cultivate that culture of letting someone know. Also from the report, create and promote the safe school climate, build on a culture of safety. I think we're doing everything we can there, and provide training for our stakeholders. This one is something we need to continue to do. And I have some slides put in here how we're trying to respond to these recommendations and facility enhancements, and everybody gets a lot of credit. It's not a one-person deal. The threat assessment and identifying concerned behaviors, the comprehensive school threat assessment. A gentleman by the name of Dr. Dewey Cornell at the University of Virginia in 2001 started a study that was 17 years long. And his study, he developed the comprehensive threat assessment guidelines. It's research-based. It's a 17-year-long study. And Alan's the one that found that thing, and we're going to be engaging in that and kicking that off when the principals report back here in August. We've done threat assessments in the district. It's been a long-standing practice, but I think in light of our current times, we're going to enhance our threat assessment and really build on it. And we know that's one of our number one things for safety. Just a couple of things here, and everybody can read. You can see the website again if you want to go check out the CSTAG things that the principals are going to be diving into and working on it with Alan's lead. And that's going to filter down to our building bit teams and all of those things. But we want to identify students in situations that raise concerns. Number one priority, we want to identify those kiddos. We want to gather information and facts to assess the risk, the potential of targeted violence towards our schools. We want to know the patterns or the facts that are before us that may help us identify a child that we can intervene on and provide to them support and save them and save others. And developing interventions and management strategies. Again, we've been doing this at a pretty high level for a while, but now it's time to take it to the next level and do the best that we can based on research. And that's the CSTAG moving forward. Our reporting systems and climate and culture, we know we have work to do here. We know we need to focus on communication, and we need to create those environments where people feel safe to talk. That first list I have up there, research has demonstrated students are going to teachers first, and then they're going to their parents. And I think our parents, we need to emphasize through our parent meetings that are going to be coming forward with our new family counselors, new to the district, paid for by ESSER funds. We really need to encourage those parents. If you're hearing something, call your building administrator, call anybody, call the school board, call the safe to tell, but we really need to encourage parents to speak up. Principals are next, counselors. And it feels a little out of order to me, but this is how the research is showing: SROs and then anybody else, an adult. But some of the system and programs that we have in place is the safe to tell. It's on the first page of the website. You do have to scroll down a little bit, but it is there. Adults at the school, those are our teachers. We know that's very important. The SROs, some of you board members were with us at San Diego, and it just astonished me at some of those safety workshops that I went to that folks were recommending we don't need SROs. That's just a gross misinterpretation, in my opinion. Our SROs in relationship with the PD is absolutely phenomenal. Student mentors, Link Crew, Darren and his staff, and in particular, TJ Castillion, he's going to be heading up a new program called Link Crew. It's going to help with our freshmen transitioning to the high school, but it is designed to help bullying. It's designed to help them feel more welcome, and it's going to help them feel more connected. And so it's going to have twofold: create that culture of reporting and also maybe save a child from thinking about doing harm. So we're really excited to kick off the Links Crew project this fall with TJ Castillion headed up. The Hope Squad, something that Green River High counselors, again, Alan's worked on. The BARC system, got to give a lot of credit to JR. And I know we want to do a 30,000 view, and I don't want to be here till midnight, but I can think of Steve Schwartz at the high school, and I can think of Joe down at Lincoln. And I think if both of them came up to the podium right now, they could say how the BARC system, and remember, BARC monitors all digital activity in the district. And if a child is saying something through an email or somewhere, or a questionable search, the BARC's going to alert administration. And we have actual cases in the district where a child's life has been saved per BARC. JR gets a lot of credit for that. You know, Greg Fagenzer is working on the wellness wheel moving forward. We know we want to support our staff members and their emotional health. And again, ultimately our children and our emotional health, and there's going to be more coming down the pike with that. The addition of the hall monitors. I know the Board of Trustees seen hall monitors posted all year long. We're finally going to have those things filled this fall. And meeting with Darren Heslop, and Darren saying, Jace, here's number one thing I'm going to tell Jackie up at that high school. Here's your duty, young lady. You're a hall monitor. You're going to build relationships with all kids. But guess what? When you're walking around, you're going to make sure you check every exterior door too while you're at it. And some of those things, take that pressure off of Kent and everybody else. But number one duty, those hall monitors, walk around, help secure them buildings, because we know those prop doors are a concern. And we've got to get away from that. But I think also at those safety conferences that we went to, the Board of Trustees and all of us out there at San Diego, they were saying hall monitors are vital. And I'm just so proud that our district has both of those, hall monitors and SROs. Town hall meetings where principals meet with the children, and then obviously cyber SWAT. And Ken's doing a lot of work on that, and Officer Kirkwood, and we're just not gonna, we're just going 30,000. We're not gonna get into a depth of a lot of these things. Training our stakeholders. With the addition of our 2 new family counselors, we're really looking forward to those parent nights and encouraging those parents. I know as a parent visiting with my children, it's just like, stay out of it. Don't be rocking the boat type deal. And I think we've evolved a little bit where it's like, hey, parents, if you hear something, you can safely tell. It doesn't have to tie back into your family with the safe to tell, or you can straight up call the principal, or even a board member. But we really want to coach our external stakeholders into that. The safe schools training, we've utilized those for quite a few years now. HIPAA, FERPA, the mandatory reporting. When people think of safe schools, that's what they think of. But the Safe Schools organization, Vector, they've really developed a bank of courses. And that's where the active targeted shooter that we assigned to the board a month ago, it came from Safe Schools. And this year, when teachers log in to their Safe Schools to satisfy their mandatory state statute requirement, they're going to have a bank of courses there that are suggested and not required. And there's going to be things like recognizing bullying, classroom safety, and some things like, hey, maybe it's not a bad idea to practice locking your doors. Or if you're teaching, that door's propped open, but it's locked. Because if ever there's a scary situation, you're locking it really quick. But you don't think of something simple like practicing locking your door, or what's going to happen. And I think there's a large bank in resources now for teachers to grab onto when they log into their Safe Schools. Officer Kirkwood, thank you for being here tonight. And last year, thank you for training every building in the district and what they're calling alert. What the alert is of the active shooter training. And central office even went through it, where he went in, met with the principals, the children, and the staff, and they did a training. If someone wants to come here and harm you, here's what we do. And if you want to take 10 seconds and add to that, but we can't thank you enough for that training. And I tell you what, we're going to have to, we can't forget about it now though. And you're here and I'm going to speak for you, but we need to have you review it with everybody. We can't forget about it. It's important. The I Love You Guys Foundation, that's what we hear all the time. The fire drills, the lockdown, lockout. We've done a lot of training there. I want to tell Kent, thank you for having the emergency responders, because Tom, you know, back when you're in the classroom all the time, fire drill, you never saw anybody. But now it's pretty common when you do a fire drill or something to see folks there. You see the firemen there, you see everybody, and the kids get more comfortable seeing them. It's not such a shock. So a lot of good work there done with Kent and his team. And then the building intervention teams, I touched on it again, Alan, their roles are going to be continuing to adapt. The building intervention teams, through the new threat assessment CSTAG, they're going to develop new strategies to seek out and support children. And in our hopes, preventing something bad happening in the future. Again, I want to touch on Greg's wellness wheel that you guys are going to hear more to come on as well. Doug deserves a lot of credit. School, we have a national expert in our community now who says, I think your facilities are some of the safest I've seen around the nation. Thank you very much. I know we got to shore up the door propping and a lot of that stuff, but I tell you what, you buzz into our schools and the secretaries do a nice job, and you go there, you buzz in, hey, can I help you? Why are you here? The card systems. And those are all things geared towards safety. And these are all things that Doug has headed up over the years. We've been talking a lot about the key fobs at Green River High School, and the trigger has been pulled on that. Doug's met with Marshall, it's scheduled all of those things. We're in a little bit of a holding pattern because of the delays and across the nation and things. So it may be pushed out a little bit, 6 months or so, but eventually Green River High staff members are going to have a fob. And it's going to be a 2-point that they could trigger a lockdown anywhere in the building. I'm downstairs, I have that fob. If I see something's up, I fob, trigger a complete lockdown, safety, someone's here trying to do harm. And I'm really excited about that system and potentially expanding that system district-wide. But as you know, in the Secret Service report, we're not going to go through the whole thing here tonight, talks about shootings are 2 to 5 minutes on average. I know the one in Texas is an anomaly, but 2 to 5 minutes. So if I'm in that basement hall anywhere in the district and I see something very scary, I have my fob on me, it could potentially save lives. Again, Doug's idea and deserves a lot of credit there. Milestone camera systems, had those in place for a lot of years, securities, intercoms where if children are on recess, it's our intent that on recess, they could hear if something potentially is going on. Okay, and we want them trained to just get to safety. Also, let's talk about our band rooms and some of those things right now in progress, 90% complete. That band room over there at Lincoln's getting flashing lights. You're in the middle of something, you don't hear the intercom, those lights start flashing. That could signal, get to safety, protect yourself. So always little enhancements that, quite frankly, we as a district are very proud of. The prop door alert system, the district and Doug in particular met with the gentleman today, and we're beginning the very initial phases of at Green River High and hopefully at other buildings throughout the district, that if an exterior door is propped that shouldn't be, other than the front doors where people are coming during the day, that there's going to be an alert system that tells the administration or someone that that door is propped, and boom, better be on it right away. And so that if someone props a door, wants to get in, hopefully that system will tell us. And Doug, I trust that meeting was a good meeting today. Obviously, the alarm systems and the faculty threat assessment. And again, oops, sorry. The facility threat assessment, we've met with entities throughout the county, and the sheriff's office approached us and said, hey guys, we can come look at your buildings and give you some suggestions. Absolutely. Every angle, every eye, the 360-degree view we can get on this, they're more than welcome. So we're working on setting up the appointment with John Grossnickel, Jason Love, and those fellows to come look at our facilities and just give us some pointers. And then the hall monitors. Some things recently, and this is the last slide, we did have the roundtable discussion where we had national experts, we had our sheriff's office, we had the PD, and we had a roundtable discussion following the incidents that happened in Texas. And again, we reviewed everything that we're doing and everything that we need to do. And the revamped threat assessment's one of the big one. The SRO breakfast, that's been going on for years, but the last couple of years, we've really had a heavy dose of focus on safety. And when we say research-based, when someone comes in and tries to sell the district a product, we get the SRO's opinion. And sometimes they're like, guys, they're just selling you a product. This ain't going to enhance safety and save us a little bit of money and go in the right direction. So really good things happening at the SRO breakfasts. I mentioned we've been in contact with national experts. Craig and Alan, threat and hazard identification and risk assessment, the THERA, the lady reached out to you just this week that we're going to be a part of. Do you have anything to add there? The Wyoming Department of Education, Project Aware. These are some new things that we are becoming aware of as district that we're going to jump right in. And last, the Wyoming Department of Education school security discussion. They're having a series of discussions with all districts throughout the state and going to be wanting to hear what we have to say, how we believe we can enhance security. And I said it a month ago, and I'm going to say it again. Any legislation that helps fund SROs and those things, we're more than welcome to. We pay half of their salaries. I'm fine if legislation says we pay more of it, and the more SROs, the better, because those guys are phenomenal and they've done a great job. Board of Trustees, your position is very tough, and oftentimes thank you. And we, the administration, thank you for your unwavering support of this district.
Is there any questions?
Thank you.
I would just say that anytime we get an improvement in safety, I think we need to promote that. I don't know, the experts say not to do that. I don't know how that works. Like, i.e., you prop the door open, there's going to be an alarm that'll go off. I don't know how you do that, but at least keep us informed.
You're correct, Chairman Core. And I think that you can hear debate twofold, and Officer Kirkwood's a little bit more of an expert than me. You get too transparent for things, it could help someone do a preemptive plan.
I agree.
But you also want to share some things too, that insecurity is as tight as we're going to make it.
Officer Kirkwood's leaning forward, so I think he might have something to say.
We've had extensive discussions about that, and we're all along the same line. The police department is share the information. We're not gonna share tactics of police officers and stuff like that, but it's rewarding, and you might not ever know it's rewarding, because if it was more than an active shooter with a student, if it was a terroristic attack or something like that, and there's press and media that this school district's doing what we're doing, that could be a huge deterrent for people we don't even know about. There's been debriefings, there's been stuff that I've been to that they talk about bigger agencies where there were terrorists going through looking for soft targets, and when they find the attention that districts are being proactive in the approach of school safety, they check that school off their list and they go find a softer target. So collectively at the police department, we've had a lot of extensive conversations about it, and we're all in agreement that we should advertise any type of safety stuff if we can.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Any questions?
No,
Comments? Tom?
I just wanted to add, I just think you respond to a crisis by how you've been trained. I think we need to spend some time working with our principals, and not just our principals, but you think about what happens at a basketball game, what happens at lunch in the middle school. We don't spend enough time. We spend all of our time training, even with fire drills, about what happens in the middle of a class. But we don't spend a lot of time on what happens in the exchange of class, or at the beginning of class, or at a basketball game, or at a graduation, etc. So I think I'd like to see us pursue some of that stuff, just so we know how to respond. So appreciate your work.
How often do we do active shooter training here in the district involving the police, different police forces or responding agencies? Is that mass casualty incident stuff? Have we done any of that?
So I've been here 2 years and we've done it both years. Officer Kirkwood has got people that have led us through that, and they've done everything from this building to the elementaries. And maybe
we have done a lot of training, and I'm thankful for the support of Mr. Behringer through it all. With the actual training of the staff, we've done that annually. We're going to continue to do that. We adapt the program to try and keep it entertaining, I guess. Don't misunderstand that, but we adapt it so it's not just repetitive for the staff. So we're keeping them engaged. Kent and I are actually already working on a presentation we're going to do to the high school August 15th for a rendition of what we've been doing over the last 2 or 3 years. Active shooter stuff for law enforcement side responding. We have last year I did training with the sheriff's office and the Rock Springs PD, and we went through and trained every officer in Sweetwater County, excluding highway patrol, which eventually we'll add to that, on active shooter response for law enforcement, so that we are all on the same page.
We have a cadre of instructors that go through and do that stuff. We do a presentation part, and then we do scenario-based training, because the response for a school district active shooter would be the same as an active shooter in the mall in Rock Springs or the college and stuff like that. So law enforcement side, we're doing that training, and then with the school district, we've been doing annual training with them too. I know there was a training, I don't know how many years, it's been several years. We did a
About
scenario
7.
training at the high school where
Yeah.
it involved Rock Springs PD. It involved all the SWAT teams. I was part of that with the Rock Springs PD. We came over and did a training at the high school. The hardest thing with it is scheduling. And then the other issue that we ran into is the response from the public side of stuff. If cops show up during the school year and we're training how we fight, sometimes you get a whole lot of negative feedback from that. So we've tried accommodating that with the public's perception and doing stuff in the schools. Our cops in Green River have been in all the schools. We encourage them to actually go into the schools during business hours and just say hi and stuff. I know I've done that in several schools, but the training's ongoing and continuing. So, sorry, that was long-winded.
No,
Okay.
good.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
Outstanding. Keep us informed. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item is 9.07, the High School Activity Association dues. I just wanted to discuss a little bit. We've added girls wrestling to the dues that we will be paying. So that gives me the assumption that we'll be offering girls wrestling. So bring us up to date, please, Mr. Tony Beardsley. I was almost calling you Behringer, but it's Beardsley.
Thanks, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. You know, in July, every July, we always pay our WHSAA dues to the High School Association for insurance and the different sports that we offer. And on that form, it'll say 4A, 3A dues. So I do want to clarify that we pay 4A dues. Those are the same as 3A dues. We are a 4A school in some sports and we're 3A in other sports, but you pay to sponsor a soccer team, whether you're in 3A or 4A. So I just want to make sure that everyone in our community understands that even though our soccer teams will be playing 3A next year, we do pay as a 4A school because we offer 4A sports, but they are the same. So, and then above and beyond that, I was part of a committee actually set up by the WHSAA, and the executive board of the High School Association has approved the addition of state competition for women's wrestling. It's the fastest growing sport in the world. It's the fastest growing sport in America. Idaho, Montana, everybody around us has girls' high school sponsored wrestling. Now, we've had girls in our program, so this is not a change for us. So very important for everyone to know, we did pay the dues to add female wrestling, and we will sponsor a team. But it's much like tennis, golf, all of those sports. We will use our same coaching staff. We've already had females on our team. We will make it work within the operating budget we already have in terms of activities. So the addition of this is beneficial for us because it offers more opportunity for our females. It improves our Title IX equity. And at the same time, and most importantly, I think it's very important to note that the addition of women's wrestling, I do not anticipate will affect our activities budget. We will work it right in there, and our same coaches are well-trained to have coached females, and we are ready to go.
All right. Any questions? Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is superintendent and board comments. Brenda?
Do we need a motion to approve that?
Oh, yeah, I guess we do. I need a motion to approve the dues. I already signed it, but better approve it.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Brenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that. I'll get back into the groove of this. Trust me. All right. Superintendent and board comments. Brenda, would you like to start, please?
Sure, thank you. So Chris, thank you so much for the budget. It was very easy to understand and go through it. I mean, it's just always presented so clear. I know you have a team of people that help you with that, but thank you so much. And congratulations, Leah. What an honor. Our district has a lot to be proud of. And then the CDC, I serve as the school district liaison to the CDC board, and we made an offer to a gal to be our new executive director starting August 1st. Her name is Lori Lucero. She is a 24-year SLP. And so we are very excited to get her started on board. So
Okay, great. August 1st. All right, Dave.
Congratulations, Leah. I think she's from the best class ever from Green River High School, class of 1990. Made us all
Holy
proud.
moly.
That's all I have.
Thomas.
Well, first of all, the congratulations. It's a great honor. Our district is blessed. I'd like to reach out to Bmx Committee. I don't know if you read the park got broken into last night. They have a dedication on the 25th, but man, they got some work done. BMX people, but that's impressive. I went down there the other day. I'll be out of town and I won't be able to attend the dedication, but hopefully they'll get everything put back together. NHS Dog Park, if you get a chance, drive down there. The fence is up. I think they're putting in a sprinkling system, going to plant some grass. So that thing, $38,000 and 4 years later is coming to fruition. Chris, I don't know how your head doesn't blow up with all those numbers in there, but you're amazing and your staff does a great job. And lastly, Dr. Foos, Dr. Demaray, Superintendent Behringer, thanks for the work on the school safety. It's the biggest thing we can do right now. And it's a tough challenge, but thank you for your work. And we are ahead of the game, I think, but lots to do.
All right, thanks, Tom. Craig.
I'd like to thank Chris too. She doesn't ever come up with have any excuses, but we did have Corinne leave. I mean, somewhat unexpectedly a couple weeks ago. So what Chris had to do is not only she training the next Corinne, but she put all this together. So that's a good job, a great job, Chris. So she's had to put in a lot of hours the last month. Also would like to thank Officer Kirkwood because he has come in almost when it's our availability. So when we talk about scheduling, it's really hard. So they kind of have to work around our schedule, and they come in and they've met with every building every year since I've been here. And the cost, all it costs us is a couple boxes of donuts at the city police station. So it's.
He wants nachos. Give him nachos.
Oh, okay. Next year it's Taco Bell nachos. So
There you
we'll.
go.
So.
All right, Mark.
Thanks for everybody's hard work. Chris, very good. Add to the rest of them. Dr. Foos, I like the safety presentation and look forward to maybe hearing more. It's something I really like to keep up on. Yeah, great job. And next time we have a meeting, we'll be getting ready to welcome students back. So
Getting close. isn't
summer's
it?
going
Yep.
hard.
All right, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. You always make it easy to understand. And so I appreciate that and all the hard work that you put into the budget. And congratulations, Leah. That's so amazing. And we really do have so much to be proud of. We have got a lot of awards, but we also just have a lot of other people who do amazing things every day to support everyone. And so it's a team effort and we have a great district. And I hope everybody enjoys this last month of summer.
All right, thanks. Just want to remind the board, we do have an opening. The position, we're taking applications for the position through Monday at 4:30 is the deadline to apply. I was thinking about possibly having a special meeting, but if it's okay with you folks, maybe we just meet the second Tuesday in August and come in about an hour and a half early, do the interviews, and we don't, right now we only have one application, but we have more than one. We can do the interviews that night. We can swear the person in, boom, they sit at the board meeting and away we go. Is everybody agreeing with that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll probably set that up for like 5:30 and maybe Leo feed us. And we'll go through the application, but I will have the applications packet put together that you can pick up here once the deadline's gone. Leah or Mary will put it all together and then you can come in and pick it up and then you can go through the applications and then I think I'll send out an email concerning questions.
Our board meeting was slated for earlier time already in.
Yeah,
August.
I think we'll push that board meeting back to 7. Yeah, and we'll just get together about 5:30 and you'll get an opportunity to read through the applications and we can quick discussion and then depending on the number, if there's only 2 or 3, then we'll just invite them in and we'll see what they think. If we get more than that, we'll have to probably whittle it down. Okay. We'll try to be as transparent as possible with that situation. Tom mentioned it, BMX ribbon cutting ceremonies 5:30 on Monday. I definitely think we need to have school board presence there. I plan on going if we can get some people there since the rec mill supported that organization by 50 grand. I can't believe they got broken into. I walked by it this morning and I guess I wasn't looking for somebody to break in. I don't know. That was weird. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Craig, thanks for your intervention. Dealing with a board issue. I appreciate that. Let's see here. I had a couple other things I wanted to mention. I'm going to reiterate what I've been saying for years, that we just absolutely can have no tolerance from bullying in this district. I think if you see it, the least you can do is report it. And the most you can do is verbally commit to yourself that you're going to stop the bullying, but definitely need to report it both verbal and online. And for the employees to report it, I think they need to make sure that something's being done about it. So I encourage the upper level folks to make sure we do something about that bullying stuff. And in light of recent developments on the school board, I need to mention this. The board does not handle any money. We oversee and approve budget and expenditures, but we handle no money. So the call out there on social media to do an audit of the school district is ridiculous. We do that once a year and we'll do it again next year. But the people need to know we do not handle money. None of us do. We're responsible for the money, but we don't handle the money. So I just wanted to make that announcement. That's all I have. Thanks for your attendance tonight. Thanks for coming tonight. We appreciate it. We don't have an executive session, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.